isicelo sakho awuzange uyitshele manje ukuthi-ke abathathu bathi kunebala elimnyama, amunye wathi hayi yena udark brown, obanye-ke bangaletha incazelo.
I'm not sure what we're busy with now, but in any case, the witness says he gives a summary, when making this application to the magistrate. Must he now give such details as his counsel would, would like him to have, in trying to convey to the magistrate what the identity is all about, just to set out these minute details? We submit, my lord, that this is an unfair question, given the fact that this was just a summary in an application to a magistrate.
It's very interesting. The objection of the state is based on the fact that it was not necessary for this witness to give those little details about the description of on the description of this suspect. But now, if you deemed it necessary and relevant to speak about dreadlocks, how could you not have deemed it necessary to speak about his skin color? I'm sorry, that is actually a response to the objection by my colleague. It's not a question to him. It's just like that. That is my response to him, to the state. I'm not so sure whether should I then proceed with my question.
The state is just saying, the witness says it's a summary.
Yes.
So the summary of the facts he wants to convey to the magistrate.
Yes.
That's what he objecting to. That should he now mention each and every detail, that this guy walked with a limp and he was lisping when I spoke to him. That's why he says it's a summary. Maybe let's read what's the section, otherwise we're going to be here the whole day again. It's section 205. Just read it.
I just want to get my phone.
Oh, you want your...
No, I'm already to cancel.
So that we appraise ourselves as to the requirements required for the issuing of a warrant.
Regional court magistrate or magistrate may take evidence as to alleged offense. Subsection 1. A judge of a high court, a regional court, a magistrate, or a magistrate may, subject to the provisions of subsection 4 and subsection 15 of the regulation of interception of communications and provision of communication related information act number 2002, upon the request of a director of public prosecutions or a public prosecutor authorized thereto in writing by the director of public prosecutions, require the attendance before him or her or any other judge, regional court magistrate or magistrate for examination by the director of public prosecutions or the public prosecutor authorized thereto in writing by the director of public prosecutions of any person who is likely to give material or relevant information as to any alleged offense, whether or not it is known by whom the offense was committed, provided that if such a person furnishes that information to the satisfaction of the director of public prosecutions or public prosecutor concerned prior to the date on which he or she is required to appear before a judge, regional court magistrate or magistrate, he or she shall be under no further obligation to appear before a judge, regional court magistrate or magistrate. Then subsection 2 is really not relevant. Subsection 3, the examination of any person under subsection 1 may be conducted in private at any place designated by the judge, regional court magistrate or magistrate. And subsection 4, a person required in terms of subsection 1 to appear before a judge, a regional court magistrate or magistrate for examination, and who refuses or fails to give the information contemplated in subsection 1 shall not be sentenced to imprisonment as contemplated in section 189 unless the judge, regional court magistrate or magistrate concerned, as the case may be, is also of the opinion that furnishing of such information is necessary for the administration of justice or the maintenance of law and order. Those are the provisions of section 2.5. So in simple terms, to subpoena a person who might have information regarding the commission of an offense.
Is it please the court, my lord? I'm not so sure whether I need to proceed. I stop. Thank you. Now, brigadier, you are telling the magistrate that may you kindly assist me to get a cell phone records in terms of section 205. Because, amongst others, there's a suspect, I'm investigating a criminal case, there's a suspect that is involved here, who is described by these witnesses who saw him as a black male with big eyes, having dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or brown jacket, or a top and a hat. He was shorter in height than the second suspect. Now my question is, why didn't you tell the magistrate from whom you are requesting this endeavor to call Rakesh, that this suspect that is also that was seen by these people had a dark skin, was a dark skin, a dark complexion? Why don't you bring that to the attention of the magistrate?
Please, Malak, we've already raised an objection, but we've just read out section 2.5. All that the section requires is that the person should have information regarding the commission of an offense. As to this detailed minutiae that my colleague refers to, that is not mentioned in the section.
That is, my lord, that is a very gross misunderstanding of the law. What my colleague has just read now, it has got to do with the person who is being requested to give the information, not what should be contained in the affidavit. This is a directive to the person that what is it that is supposed to do. It's, for instance, in the context of this affidavit, that was directed to Rakesh Ishwaraddin from MTN. Now the investigating officer goes to the magistrate or the presiding officer or the judge and say, can you please order Rakesh to bring this information because we are investigating, amongst others, a case that involves a person who was described by the witnesses who saw him as a black person, a black male, with big eyes, with dreadlocks. He wore a khaki or a brown jacket or a top and a hat. He was shorter in height than the second suspect. Now my question is, why did he omit to tell the magistrate that the same witnesses who told him that this person was a black male with dreadlocks, wearing khaki, top jacket or hat, he was shorter in height than the second suspect, also had a dark complexion? That's my simple question. Why did he omit to tell the magistrate that?
Yes, my lord. My lord, as I've said, this is a summary. You summarize, that's how Section 205 applications are done. Even when you go for the Section 43 application, you summarize. If you have to include each and every context, I'm not sure how many pages you will write, my lord, because then I'm expected to say, others are saying it's dark, others are saying dark brown, others are contradicting the other ones, others are saying revolver, others, because it's a description of what happened. That's not how you do the application. That's not at least how I know it's done, my lord. This is a summary. It was a summary of what I was bringing to the attention of the magistrate and the reasons thereof. The reasons were the subpoenas of the numbers that were not known to the state when the offense was taking place, and they were subsequently known at the time when I made the application, my lord.
Ngizama ukuthi ngiletheke isicelo esifingqiwe ngoba kwenziwa kanjalo akufakwa nje into efingqiwe ngoba ngifuna ukuthi umagistrate azwisise ukuthi ngicelani ngoba kwenziwa kanjalo uma kwenziwa isection 205 noma isection 43 futhi ke isizathu ke sokuthi sasifuna ukuthi sithole ukuthi ngoba kukhona lezi namba lezi esathi ngaphambilini sasingakazitholi lezi namba kodwa ngalesi sikhathi sesizofaka lesi sicelo sasesinazo yikho ke sasifuna ukuthi sicela ukuthola labo section 205.
And my lord, what perhaps should be noted, because I think maybe we are not on the same page with Advocate MNISI. This statement was not insofar as accused 3 is concerned. So there's nothing malicious to say one was keeping something away insofar as he is concerned so that the court can make a ruling, for example, in terms of the G50. This was an application for section 205. In fact, his number does not even appear on this application. It was simply a background because you need to tell the magistrate what are the allegations and the reasons why you want the magistrate to authorize this application, my lord. It's a background, so you summarize. So there was nothing malicious or untoward insofar as accused number 3, because this had nothing to do with him, but it's the background of the case.
Lana futhi khona engifisa ukuphawula ukuthi lana ke isicelo lesi sasingahambelani nomsolo wesithathu. Lokho nje kwakuzama ukuveza ukuthi kuzwakala ukuthi yini indaba sifaka lesi sicelo ngoba sesifuna nje ukuthi kube nendlela ukuthi sendlalele kahle ukuthi kuzwakale kahle ukuthi yini indaba sifaka lesicelo ukungaqondene nomsolo wesithathu.
Thank you, Brigadier. You're right. Nothing contained in this document has got to do with accused number 3. All that I'm asking you is why did you not include the description that you got from the witnesses of the skin complexion of this person that you are requesting this, that you are describing to the magistrate in this affidavit? That's all that I want. That's got nothing. I don't know how accused number 3 looks like.
My lord, I've answered.
Thank you.
It's a summary. I'm not so sure whether, because I think the term explains itself. When you summarize, you don't take the entire context and put it in a summary. That's exactly what it means. It's bigger, you make it smaller. That's what summary says. So what is initially contained here, on the other hand, when you bring it to a summary, you will not have all the facts. Now I'm getting the question from Advocate MNISI saying I should have explained as if now we are bringing everything from the top to the summary document. That's not how it's done. When you bring an application, you summarize. You simply give the background and summarize the point that you need to create across and the request that you are bringing before the magistrate, my lord.
Futhi ngiyasho ukuthi lana besizama ukuletha incazelo efingqiwe ngoba besingafane akudingeki ukuthi silethe isicelo esibhalwe konke ngoba kwangeyona inhloso le ngoba uthatha okukhulu uyakufiqa kube kuncane. Iyona into ebesizama ukuyenza ukuthi kuzwakale nje ukuthi sikhuluma ngani kodwa ngingasho ukuthi sizofaka yonke imininingwane ekhona mayelana ngalesi sicelo esisifakayo.
Thank you, Brigadier. As we proceed, let's remind you that this is an affidavit. It's not a summary, it's not an application. This I'm reading from an affidavit, but nonetheless, let us proceed. Now, on page 333.5, you kick off by saying your affidavit, by saying, it is stated that the suspects fled on foot and the hat which was worn by the shooter was left on the crime scene.
That is correct, my lord. I see that.
Kala ngokuthi ke lana abasolwa babaleka ngezinyawo kodwa ke bebaleka isigqoko esasigqokwe omunye wabasolwa sawela phansi. Athi yebo kunjalo.
You further said that the incident took place between, on paragraph 4 of this affidavit, the incident took place between 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the evening, and the deceased was declared dead on arrival at the hospital at 9:15 in the evening. Is that what you say?
Uthe wena isahlalo lesisenze phakathi kwamahora ka-8:30 no-9 wasebusuku nokuthi bafika esibhedlela ngo-9:15 akunjalo?
Yes, my lord. That's what I'm saying. Even the top part of the head being left at the crime scene, it's correct. It's contained in the docket.
Yeah,
The declaration of the deceased when they were declaring him dead at 21:15, it's in the docket. That is correct, my lord. And the estimation, because this 9:30, and it appears in the numerous times in my statements that is between 20:30 and 2100 hours, because you have to take into account that's what is contained in the docket, my lord.
Yebo kunjalo ngoba bafika nesibhedlela basho ukuthi ushonile ngo-9:15 basho ukuthi ushonile. Yebo lamahora abenjalo ngoba kwavela ukuthi cha kwakuyizo lezo khathi ka-8:30 no-9 wasebusuku.
Now, you go on, you proceed in paragraph number 4. Paragraph number 4, subparagraph 2 thereof says, investigation which resulted in evidence under oath revealed that the victim was murdered in a contractual assassination or hit rather than a robbery or a robbery gone wrong.
La yachaza ukuthi umufi lo wabulawa ngabaqashi ukuthi bombulala nokuthi kwakungekona ukuthi wadubuleka ngesikhathi bezama ukubamba inkunzi.
Yes, that's what I said, my lord.
Yeah, we're gonna ensure.
And is this the evidence that you had when you applied for this, when you wrote this affidavit in application for in preparation for the 205 application?
Manje lokubona ngesikhathi ubhala ke le affidavit yefaka isicelo sika-205.
Indeed, my lord. Yes, I had this application because if you look at the commissioning date, it's dated 2020 December 07. The accused were already arraigned even that time. They already made their first appearance in Boxback.
Yebo kunjalo ngoba uyalibona lo suku olubhaliwe lapha ukuthi abasolwa abasisebeboshiwe sebeyovela enkantolo eBoxback.
So you basically are saying to the magistrate that no, this was a contractual killing. It was actually not a robbery or a robbery gone wrong, as the office of the DPP has mentioned in their summary of substantial facts. Not so.
We were going to rise for the last time on this aspect, and you know, we don't want to interfere with Advocate MNISI's cross-examination, but we submit with the greatest of respect that, you know, we're splitting hairs here. I think this line of cross-examination, and we say this with the greatest of respect, demonstrate a fundamental misconception of Section 205. Section 205, it's aimed at actually states there are two jurisdictional aspects regarding Section 205. Firstly, there has to be evidence that an offense has been committed, and secondly, that the person who's been subpoenaed has got that information. So those are the only two jurisdictional aspects that trigger Section 205, namely that an offense has to be committed. The affidavit says that an offense has been committed, and secondly, that the person, the service provider, is in possession of that information. Cell phone records are required to determine if what in or Section 205 records, cell phone records are needed to determine what role any cell phone communication played. This is not a trial before a magistrate. The magistrate is not required to as it were, is not a trial of fact. All that the magistrate needs to convince himself are those two jurisdictional aspects, that an offense has been committed and the person from whom the information is required is in possession of that information. That can help to resolve the crime in question. Those are the only requirements of the section. What my learned friend is busy with, my lord, will be absolutely...
I'm at no point, not even with a bit of an inch, am I challenging the validity of this Section 205. That is not my aim, and I will never do that. However, it should be borne in mind, my lord, that this Section 205 is based on certain information that the magistrate is being provided with, which information stems from the investigation that is contained in the case docket. Unless my colleague says to me he's not feeling comfortable when I'm raising what is contained in this affidavit, which is accompanying. It's an application. How can I put it? This is an affidavit in support of the application of the Section 205. Unless my colleague is saying that I should not actually question this affidavit because as is, it is as is. But it is not as is vis-a-vis what this witness testified about in his evidence. Remember, he is the same witness, my lord, who penned this statement, this affidavit under oath, which facts he got from his investigation. So there's therefore nothing wrong with me when I take him through what he presented to the magistrate, which is exclusively based on the nature of his investigation. I'm not challenging the validity of the Section 205.
So what are we about if you're not challenging the validity of the information which was acquired?
Contradictions. I'm about contradictions.
What type of contradictions?
Contradictions that will enable the court later on to decide whether he's a credible witness or not.
Yes, sir.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, you are saying in your affidavit that the evidence which you heard under oath revealed that the victim was murdered in a contractual assassination or a hit rather than a robbery which has gone wrong. Now, before you answer, let me complete my question. Are you aware that what we have just said here totally contradicts the summary of substantial facts that are contained in the indictment? That you are saying this was a hit when the summary of substantial facts are saying that this is a robbery that went wrong. And in fact, you are saying, sir, it was a hit and not a robbery which has gone wrong. Do you see that?
Well, again, my lord, we want to rise on a different aspect, and we'll find authority to this aspect that the motive for the commission of an offense need not be disclosed by the state in the formulation of the charges. So whatever the motive was for the commission of the offense is irrelevant. If someone has been murdered, what the motive thereof was, my lord, is absolutely irrelevant. The fact of the matter is that murder was committed. We submit, therefore, that what my learned friend is trying to elicit from this witness is it's not in keeping what the law says. It says motive for the commission of an offense is irrelevant.
As it is the court, my lord. Again, I submit, my lord. That is a dire misunderstanding of the Criminal Law Amendment Act. What is that act now that deals with the minimum sentences? The Criminal Law Amendment Act 105 of 1997. Yes, that act is very specific, my lord. And subsequent to that act, so many authorities have come. And if my colleague says that in the indictment you don't need to put a motive, as I'm saying, it's a misunderstanding of the law, my lord, because you need to put the indictment information that will enable the accused to plead thereto, to enable him to conduct his defense in terms of what the charge sheet says. But nonetheless, my lord, I'm not talking motive here in my cross-examination. I am simply bringing it to the attention of this witness that is he then aware that what he's telling this magistrate, he's saying to the magistrate, look, this was a contractual assassination. He has said he does not know why Kelly would have wanted to kill Sento because he has not investigated that. But all that he knows is that this was a contractual assassination. But the summary of the substantial facts are saying this is robbery or a robbery which has gone wrong. Now I am saying to you, are you then aware that you basically negating what the summary of substantial facts contain when you say, no, this was not a robbery or a robbery which has gone wrong, but it was a contractual killing? Is he aware that he basically negates what is contained in the indictment? That's all that I'm asking him. I'm not talking motive. I also don't know why Senzo was killed. He also has said that he does not know why Senzo was killed. Contradictions. Thank you, man.
I'm not sure. Should I answer? Should I respond? I don't know. My lord, look, if I have to comment, firstly, to say or to make an assertion that this statement A333 contradicts what I've said in my evidence in chief is not correct, because it is in line with what I've said. That's number one.
Sorry, brigadier. Just to correct, I am not saying it contradicts your evidence in chief. I say it contradicts what is contained in the summary of substantial fact in the indictment, not you.
Oh, I thought it was directed to me.
No,
Okay. All right.
it was not directed to you.
All right, okay,
Yes.
then I misunderstood. My apologies. Secondly, my lord, the issue of the paragraph, the one that deals with the contractual killing rather than the robbery gone wrong. I think it's in. Just want to find it, my lord. But basically, the paragraph that refers to the application for the J50 is dated 23 August 2020. This is before the warrants were authorized. So it is not a new thing. I've dealt with it right from the beginning, going upwards. I've never kept that part away. And that is because the investigation revealed such evidence. So it is not for me, my lord, to take left when evidence is pointing me to right. That's the second part. And thirdly, and I've said this, my lord, I cannot speak on behalf of the NPA. I think the powers there are clearly separated, and I'm not the one who can answer to that. I can only account to what was contained in the docket and what I presented to the magistrate. Now, if I had went to this magistrate in Johannesburg and presented facts which are different to what is contained in the docket, that would have been a crime, my lord. I could not say when evidence sitting before me indicates that this was a contractual killing, then I say something else. This was based on what is contained on the docket, and I presented these facts as they are. That's the truth, my lord.
Thank you, madam.
Family, I'm back again. There's something that I want to talk about that is unique about Advocate MNISI. You know, it's hard to shift MNISI from his point. No matter how much BALOI is objecting to it, he's just making himself a laughingstock in court. Because he ends up saying, the accused and colleagues in court end up laughing at BALOI, because now BALOI and Brigadier GININDA, they are defending something that, for them, they are not supposed to defend anything. They are supposed to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the people who are on the dock are the people who deleted Senzo. But what we see in this court now, the statements that are contradicting itself, statements from Brigadier GININDA, that doesn't say one and the same thing. At some point, he analyzed, he say, the suspect had dreadlocks, khaki jacket, gold tooth, many things that he said. But the key one, he doesn't want to go there because they know that they arrested the wrong people. Why he doesn't go to the complexion of accused number 3, as per the eyewitnesses gave evidence to him? That is the gist of everything. That is where Advocate MNISI doesn't want to move. He wants to understand why, when he went to the magistrate, he didn't want to make sure in that affidavit he really stated that the complexion of the first accused, of the third accused who deleted Senzo had this kind of complexion. He mentions the dreadlocks, he mentions the jacket, but it doesn't come to a point whereby he mentioned, because how do we know if that one was a Jamaican? How do we know that was an American? How do we know if it was a white person with dreadlocks? Because you are not mentioning the key point, that that person was dark in complexion. That is what you got, because it's not his case. He went to collect evidence from eyewitnesses. But what is the reason of hiding this? So that's where we get the point that there's a lot that they are hiding. They don't want. That's why when you look at BALOI, keep on objecting to whatever MNISI is saying there. It is because they know the fact that they arrested the wrong person or the wrong people in there. Because when you listen to the argument there, you don't get the point. What was the reason of not stating the complexion of the accused number 3? And the fact that Kelly was a complainant, instead, in that statement, it just sparked my mind. You go to the magistrate, you put wrong facts. Then you come to the court during the proceedings of the trial. You say Kelly was the mastermind. These two things don't mix. Because if then it was revealed in those documents, the defense should have questioned it and should have taken it hands-on and went straight to understand exactly why this 6th accused is not here when it's being mentioned in this, that he's the mastermind, she's the mastermind. So those are the contradictions that MNISI is trying to poke holes to show the judge. Though he's poking the holes to a judge who has already made his mind about this case, because you could see he ended up being on the defense side of the state instead of him stand on one position whereby he understand that, okay, this is my position, I will pass judgment according to facts. But there he's not getting facts. He end up finding himself in the same field, playing on the gallery of the state, whereby he helped them out. He became a witness, he became a prosecutor. This thing shouldn't work like that. The judge is really a mess in that court. I really don't understand how he does this. And he's doing this in front of cameras, forgetting this thing will be on internet forever. There's no way this thing, even his grandkids will see what he was doing. He didn't want to listen to anything. And the disrespect to the defense. I just don't get what the judge is trying to do there. I'm trying to understand. And he ended up sending the accused to laugh at what was going on in court. Because GININDA and BALOI are trying to help each other, not based on facts, but they're helping each other according to their fabrication of these documents. Because now it becomes more proof that even the statement that Ntanzi, they said he penned it down, it's not true, the confession. The confession, these are the signs of showing that confession was not done by Ntanzi. And confession was not done by the accused. It shows how they do their things. And I think they tried, but they were not reading their own statement if they do communicate to each other for them to make a strong case. As of now, I see no case against the accused. Ntanzi was arrested that he had a gold tooth. And he was matching the drawings of warrant staying camp, which is not true. So there's a lot that is going on in here. Eyewitnesses, when they give evidence to Brigadier GININDA, but Brigadier GININDA decided to not follow that evidence. Even the gun, that it was black, and it was an old black gun, which is a revolver, to GININDA, that doesn't just flash in his mind that I should have done this. He still defends the same thing. What kind of GININDA is this? How did he climb that ladder to be a brigadier? There's a lot of questions that needs to be answered here, because even what he is trying to do in that court, he made an affidavit and went to the magistrate. It's just, now when he talk about the affidavit, he turned the affidavit to be a summary, whereby he should have put everything that he got from the eyewitnesses, complexion, dreadlocks, but he put all these other things except for complexion. And Ratha comes in there and try to help there to defend those people. This doesn't. This is not going to be. It's not going to be easy, because MNISI is just somebody who's never dated to just move from whatever he wants to get, because he has a point that he has to go through it and make sure that point is heard by the judge. But the judge decides not to hear his point and keep on trying to help the witness and BALOI. It will not turn good. I think the judge should make up his mind and understand that MNISI is going to be there for a long time, as long as they don't give answers that he is expecting according to law. Because MNISI is quoting the law, they quote the wrong law, and MNISI still attack them and tell them that this is not right, this is what is right. I'm cross-examining somebody who penned down this affidavit according to the affidavit, and eyewitnesses what they saw. So you cannot tell me as a judge that, oh, this I cannot do, this I cannot do, or BALOI comes in and say you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Is questioning the right person. Whereby Muhale, when she was asked about Muhula or Muhale, she was asked about most about the crime scene and everything. She was always referring to GININDA. I just figured out that GININDA and Muhula, I think they kind of girlfriend and boyfriend. There's something fishy there, because even the statement, some of the things are are taken to Muhula for authorization. Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it, because it's like there was a girlfriend and a boyfriend who were trying to work on this case, but at the end, when you ask the girlfriend what exactly were you investigating, everything she will refer to Brigadier GININDA. GININDA now is in court. He has to answer. He's failing to answer his contradicting statements. So, family, what do you think about all this? Let's drop a comment, and let's not forget to like and share and subscribe. I think this is going too far, because this guy doesn't look like he will just finish his cross-examination, because this is not a joke. He's there. Where he holds like a bull terror. Everybody knows how a bull terror holds. Once it holds one place, it never leaves. That is what Advocate MNISI is doing. He wants to prove his point beyond reasonable doubt that this is exactly what happened, and he doesn't want to be deterred to move from that. He just stick to his point. You come and object to do it, he will go back to the same point, because he knows what he wants. Family, let's drop a comment. Let's not forget to like, share, and subscribe. It's really amazing to see what MNISI is doing. Bravo, bravo, bravo.